Denmark, the land of social democracy, is becoming the first EU country to copy and paste Priti Patel's policy of Rwanda. The Rwanda scheme that was implemented by the independent Britain outside the European Union and had all the Ramonas and rejoiners saying, if we were part of the EU, this would have never happened. Because that's not what EU people do, right? Well, Denmark is part of the European Union, and Denmark really care about their borders and about their culture. And it's not the first time, because for years, both centre-left and centre-right in Denmark, at least they have one thing in common: protecting the Danish culture and the public resources. We've even had, right now, Social Democrats are in charge. Social Democrats in Denmark are more right-wing than our so-called conservatives and Tories in this country. They're hardline, what they call it, hardline Denmark. They've spent the last 20 years deterring migrants. And this is, again, comparing to, for example, Sweden, which is a wishy-washy liberal socialism. And it's a completely different problem there. They have not learned their lessons in Sweden, but in Denmark, they've been very, very cautious about how they approach migration and also asylum seekers. There are two different problems. Now, if you want to help people, you help people. But if you want to actually bring in economic migrants, countries that need economic migrants need to be honest. They're not doing it out of their compassion. They're doing it for their own interests. When Canada and Australia needed a lot of migrants in the past, it was in their interest to bring in and attract people and all the talent and hard workers to come to these countries. But when it comes to refugees, actual refugees and asylum seekers, you're not doing it for your own interest. You're doing it because, you want to help people and other countries. The issue is that when these two concepts are being mixed, now nobody knows the difference between a migrant and a refugee because they can't really tell exactly. You can't vet people. It's become a bit of an issue. Now, what Denmark did, for example, they brought in around 30,000 Syrians after 2011, when all the conflict started with Assad. And the idea that they had was they want to keep them obviously separated because they are guests. They are refugees, but they are guests because the policy that Denmark has, and actually the majority of genuine refugees that leave their home because of a conflict, they want to go back anyway. They're not like economic migrants who want to stay in the country to integrate. So Denmark said, okay, now that the conflict is over in Syria, and Assad has basically won, let's slowly send them back. And this was always the plan anyway, because there are guests. Now, of course, a lot of the people who came from Syria or places that they pretended to be from Syria, they were economic migrants, they don't want to go back. Now, Denmark have signed this new deal, and they're talking with Rwanda to do a similar policy. They're also bringing in Ukrainians, about 100,000, but they want to, again, keep them separate because they know that all the Ukrainians would want to go back to Ukraine afterwards. So this is an opportunity that they want to create. Now, Michelle Bandiksen, who is the founder of Refugees Welcome, said, everything that the Danish state has done for the past 20 years is about deterrence. That's fair. It is about scaring people away from Denmark. The message is you should stay in Germany or France or wherever. Everywhere else is better than here. Apparently, if you do these policies in this country, you're called, you're harsh and hard line on whatever. No. It's a fair policy to have. Scare people enough so that they don't really want to be attracted to come to your nation if you're not ready. If you don't have the resources, if you don't have the cultural capacity to bring in mass migration, then deterrence is the best policy. But apparently when you say this, it's a bit too harsh. Well, if the European Union and Ramonas are angry at Great Britain for having this policy, well, maybe they should have a chat with one of their own member states, Denmark, who are doing the exact same thing.